I've said throughout the debates in Parliament that this bill is divisive. As my constituents reach across borders to help and house those fleeing the war in Ukraine, this government is sowing division by making an insidious distinction between good and bad refugees. It's a division that we should all completely reject, and it's why I rise today to support Amendments 4 to 9 and especially Amendment 6. Because Clause 11 makes a totally spurious division between Group 1 and Group 2 refugees that flies in the face of the 1951 Refugee Convention. The Convention clearly states that refugees, wherever they come from, shall enjoy fundamental rights and freedoms without discrimination. The government know that there are no visa or pre-entry clearances for someone wishing to claim refuge. There is no such thing as an illegal refugee in international law, and yet that's exactly what the new Group 2 category attempts to establish. All Clause 11 of the bill seeks to do is lazily turn far-right talking points about asylum seekers and refugees into legislation without seriously thinking through any of the consequences for the people involved. For example, currently people fleeing war can apply for humanitarian protection leave. The protection grants you 5 years in the UK, access to the NHS and other public funds, and an option for later applying for indefinite leave to remain and the right to work. However, the government is scrapping humanitarian protection as we know it and is instead aligning it with new Group 2 status. That's regular visa reviews every 2.5 years compared to 5, no recourse to public funds, no right to work, restricting family visa rights and no route to indefinite leave to remain. I think that is something that many in this House have missed, and I hope you will reflect. They will reflect on this, because it is remarkable that in the middle of the Ukraine crisis, as thousands of people have joined the effort to support people from Ukraine, the government is actually proposing that people running from the horrors of war should have fewer rights to come here. Those rights were brought in as the EU directive that became British law, and now the government is using a smokescreen of this bill to remove them, all by aligning them with the faulty two-tier refugee system. Yeah.
I thank Mona Wolfram for giving way and making a very, very interesting speech. Would she agree with me that the UN Convention of the Refugee was about our common humanity? I've heard lots of talk about a great country, but what we're now seeing with this government is an attempt to split humanity, to have two tiers of humanity, undermine the concept of human rights and there being one sole, universal understanding of what it is to be a human being. This government is putting it into categories, and that fundamentally, as history tells us, is a slippery slope and fundamentally wrong.
I absolutely agree, and I think it is fundamentally wrong, and that is actually absolutely why we should make sure that Clause 11 is not included in this bill. Madam Deputy Speaker, Clause 11 is out of tune with the hundreds of thousands of people who have come forward to help Ukrainian refugees. It is an affront to the 1951 Refugee Convention, and that is why I urge members to reject it and to reject this bill.